If you're a live solo musician, or this is actually true for bands, duos, trios, anyone who plays live music, there's one super important thing that you need to have, and that is a promotional video. Whether you're promoting yourself for the first time because people are going to want to know what you sound like, or maybe you want to promote a specific event that you're playing at, which I'm about to show you a video that I just made for the Crown Irish Pub, which I'm going to be playing at tonight. Actually, let's go ahead and watch that, and then I'm going to break down everything that you need to do what I just did step by step. And here's a little inside tip. You probably have everything you need to do what I'm about to show you. Oh, real quick, hang around till the end of this video. I actually have a question that I would like to ask you. I want your feedback on something.
Where you go when you're on the edge, when there's no way to turn around, you're back.
Now again, in this case, you saw that I'm promoting a gig that I'm playing at tonight. I'm filming this on April 1st. No, this is not an April Fool's joke or anything like that. I'm actually playing at the Crown Irish Pub, which I can't wait to get back on this stage. This is a really cool place. But anyway, so I wanted to just put out something on Facebook and Instagram to just show my audience, hey, here's what I'm doing tonight. And what I did, and we'll get into the nitty-gritty details here, and I'll share all the equipment I'm using and how I set everything up. Again, this is not overwhelming at all. This is just a very simple, something you can quickly put together, okay? But I wanted to put something out there, which the Crown has already shared my post on their page. So now you see the power of this, okay? And of course, you'll use the same process to showcase your talent and what you can do to potential venues that you want to play at. Let's first run through the equipment that you need to do what you just saw. And again, most of you, I'd be willing to bet that 99% of you already have everything that you need, okay? So first, you need your music gear, okay? Well, that's a no-brainer. I mean, you're playing through some sort of speaker system, right? For me, I've got two mains. I'm using the Electro Voice. These are 12-inch 1,000-watt speakers here. They're powered speakers. And of course, I've got a monitor. Now, you may be playing a smaller gig, and I do this sometimes in smaller gigs where I may just use one speaker, one of my mains. And that's okay too. You just need your sound source. I know, again, no brainer. You're already playing music, so you've already got the gear. The second thing you need to do what I just did is, well, you're actually watching it right now. You can't see it. You just need your smartphone, or better yet, two smartphones like you see here. So I've got two smartphones. Now you don't need two cameras, two smartphones or whatever, right? You can get by with just one of those, but I have two. This is an old one. I think it's an iPhone 7 or 10. I honestly don't remember. And the one that I'm filming this YouTube video right now with is the iPhone 11. What I do is I just set both phones up in different places, so this way I can capture different angles. Most of my shows, when I'm filming those parts of the shows, I'll film with two cameras. Now, you probably only have just one iPhone or one camera. I bring up the two because, hey, if you can do that, that looks really cool to be able to be like, you know, cut different parts, different scenes. It's kind of like watching Netflix or something like that. You know, they change frames like every 4 to 5 seconds, and that keeps us watching, right? That keeps us entertained. But if you just have one phone or one camera, that's perfectly fine. Just make sure it's a good visual. Now, the third thing you can do is you can have someone else film your songs, okay? Film you playing on stage or film wherever you're playing at. It doesn't matter. And if you're not playing live, I've got another tip on how you can capture that video performance. Hang around for that because that's going to be pretty cool. And it's going to make you want to start playing live if you don't already do it yet. But again, sometimes my wife will walk around with the camera, or with my phone rather, and she'll film my performance. So I think one of the guitar solos you saw in there, she was doing just that. And the first song I played, actually, she was walking around kind of slow, just filming me. Here's the thing too, you don't have to film every song or the entire song. You can just have someone walk around and film maybe 20 or 30 seconds of each song, because in the promo video that I'm talking about here, you really don't want to use the entire song. You just want to use a portion of a few songs so that whoever's listening to that can get an idea of the different styles and different genres that you do. And again, I'm going to show you how to put all this together. We're actually going to dive into the editing software, which that's actually the final thing that you need. You need some sort of movie editing software. Now, the cool thing is most of you have a computer or a laptop. You got a desktop or a laptop. I'm working on an iMac back here, so I'm just using the iMovie program that comes with the iMac. Okay, so if you have Apple, you can just use iMovie. If you're on a Windows machine, I think they have something called Windows Movie Maker or something like that. It's been forever since I've used anything Windows. Now, if you don't have a desktop or laptop, fret not, okay? You can just use your phone. There are a ton of apps out there, movie editing apps that you can use. Actually, I use the one called CapCut. There's a free version of that. I don't get any kickbacks or anything. I was just looking up best apps for editing on your phone, and I prefer to edit on the desktop, but hey, sometimes there are things that I want to do very quickly on my phone, and CapCut, that's proven to be a pretty decent program for me, at least. It's kind of easy to learn. But again, you could use CapCut or use any other app. There are a ton of apps. Just do a little bit of research and download the free versions and find out which one works best for you. One thing I'll say about CapCut real quick is, although this is for YouTube here, CapCut allows you to have different sizes for your videos. So a lot of the platforms now, the social media platforms, they want the square one, not the wide rectangle one. So this software allows you to easily make your video a square, or if you want to do something for stories and that sort of thing. So it's good to have some sort of app to do the editing, because you're also going to want to do stories, and again, you're going to want to do posts and that sort of thing. But for this purpose, I kept this one at a wide angle. I posted this again both on Facebook and Instagram, and of course you saw it on YouTube earlier. Anyway, let's move on to how we put all this together. Before we do that, you may be wondering, well, what about the sound quality? I'm going to get to that in a second here as we go through this process. Now let's get into how I put all of this together. So first things first is the filming part. So one, let me just take a video of this so you can see the tripod that I have here. Pretty cool tripod. Hey, there's my EVH amp. Pretty cool amp. Anyway, back to the tripod. So I just take this tripod with me to my shows, and I have another one that's similar to that. Actually, it's a smaller one that will sit on a table or somewhere. So I've got the tripods with both cameras, facing me to get those different angles. Now, you may be asking, well, Jason, what about sound? These iPhones, they're not going to capture, quality sound. There are a couple of things you can do. One thing you can do is you can use an external mic. I almost knocked my acoustic over grabbing that. I'm going to set you over there for now. He's like, no, I want to be in the camera. No, just sit over there. I'll pay attention to you in a little bit, and you're going to get played tonight, by the way. I have got this this Rode. What is this? This is I always forget the names of the gear that I get. I just buy stuff, and it's like, this is the Video Mic NTG. Okay, the Rode Video Mic NTG. So I will plug this into my phone, and the good thing about this mic, or really any mic, it's directional, so it's going to capture mainly what's right in front of it. So if you've got this, yeah, I'm filming myself, right? But if you got the mic itself pointed more towards the speaker or one of your speakers, then you're more apt to get a good sound. Now, the second thing that I do, the second thing that I do, since I'm using two cameras, remember I've got two phones. And again, you don't have to use two phones. You don't have to go out and buy another camera or buy a new iPhone. I want to keep this as simple as possible for you. But if you have a second phone, your spouse or partner or whatever, hey, use their phone, use your phone. Those two angles make a big difference. But the other strategy is I'll make sure that one of my phones that I'm not using an external speaker with is closer to one of the monitors or the main speakers that I'm playing through. And that way, that's going to capture more of that speaker and not so much the crowd. It's okay to capture some of the crowd noise because, hey, that's part of a live show. You're not going to have this pristine sound like you recorded in the studio. I'm not so sure that you really want that, right? Now, you don't want a crappy sound, okay? And we'll talk more about that when we get into the editing software as well. You don't want a garbage sound. You want it to be clear, but it doesn't need to be polished like it was recorded in the studio. You want that live feel, right? You want to hear a little bit of that audience noise going on as well, just not too much of it. So having a phone or a camera rather that's close to a speaker that's going to help. And of course, having a directional mic is going to help as well. So again, if you only have one phone, to simplify things, if you only have one phone and or one camera, and that's all you have, then make sure your shot is good of yourself, right? Make sure that's on a tripod or somebody's filming for you, but also make sure if you don't have a mic, an external mic to use, make sure that you're somewhat close to one of those speakers so that you're capturing a decent sound. Now, real quick, you don't have to film your entire show. That's going to be a lot of editing and stuff you have to go through to get the key pieces that you want to highlight out of that show. You can, that's fine, but especially if you've got two cameras you're filming with, well, that's double time on that. One strategy that you can use is just pick one of your sets. So my shows are anywhere from some are 2 hours, most of them are 3 hours. I've got quite a few now that are 4 hours long. Actually, after the show tonight is 3 hours, but I got another show tomorrow at Fiorelli Winery out in Bradenton, Florida. Well, that's a 4-hour show. What I will do is I'll just pick one set to film, and I'll make sure that that set list has some key songs that I want to highlight, and that it also has some diversity in styles so that I can showcase what I can do. It's not just one style of music the whole way through, right? Because for these little videos here, well, you kind of want to, you know, church it up a little bit or spice it up a little bit and show what you can do. You don't want to have the same exact thing all the way through, right? So people get bored with that. You know, we live in the scroll generation. People's attention span is like, so anyway, let's get into the editing software. I'm going to take you in here real quick and show you exactly how I put this together. All right, guys, so we're in iMovie here. Now, this isn't an iMovie tutorial. I'm going to go through this fairly quickly. I want you just to get the concepts of this, and of course, you can apply it to whatever software you use. Okay, so I'm gonna pull 3 to 4. I think for that video I did 4 songs. So I've got some recorded songs here. Let's see, there's my wife and I playing at it was called The Forge back in this time. They just renovated and changed the name to the Crown Irish Pub. So I've got that video, and again, I'm using clips that, you know, we've already taken at this venue because I wanted to promote my gig that I'm playing tonight. You can apply this to your promo video as well, though, for new venues that you want to play at. Okay, so anyway, I'm grabbing just a few videos here. I've got a cool guitar solo I'm doing right here. We'll drag that in there. Another cool guitar solo, and normally I wouldn't put 2 guitar solos in here. I do some looping and I'll play some lead along with it. Most of you know that. Anyway, I've got another song here. This is actually an original song. I recommend showcasing your cover songs, but I just decided to throw one of my originals in here as well. Anyway, so what I do is I'll find out where in the video, what part of each video I want to highlight. I don't want to showcase the whole thing. I want this to be less than a minute long. Remember, we are in the land of extremely short attention spans. So, you know, you've got to kind of cater to that if you want to stand out. If people have to listen to something too long, they're probably going to scroll to the next thing, okay? Just give them the meat and potatoes, if that makes sense. Give them the best parts of a few different songs and let that be it. So anyway, let's scroll through here real quick. That part. Okay, so we'll just go here. And I'm just going to share probably a few seconds. Okay, 12 seconds. I'm going to make it like more like 9 seconds here. So I'm going to cut the rest of that video. Done, okay? Now we'll go to the next video here. I'm playing this little guitar solo. Okay, let's just do... And I'm just going through this quickly, guys. This isn't going to turn out just like the video I shared with you earlier because I wanted to go through this from scratch. So I'm just taking bits and pieces here as an example. So got about, you know, 8-9 seconds, it's 10 seconds of each one. Let's do the same thing for this one. Now, this is something different. My wife's singing this song with me, Lonesome Loser. So that's pretty cool. That adds a different element. They're going to see me playing acoustic, then see me playing electric, then my wife and I singing, and then there's the last video here on me playing electric again. We'll make that about 9 seconds. That shows dynamics. So remember what I was talking about earlier about showcasing different styles. So what I do here is I go ahead and detach the audio from each of the files here. The reason why I do that is so now we can kind of zoom in a little bit here And I like to have a little overlay. So in other words, I'll take this first audio file, I'll drag this out a little bit, okay? But then I'll decrease the volume so that it fades out. So that way, as I'm playing or as I'm ending this first part of the video, the other part's beginning. So that being said, I'm gonna have this next video fade in a little bit here, okay? So here we go. So it wasn't so abrupt. It wasn't like, okay, this song all of a sudden stopped and now this song starts. There's a fade out as well as a fade in. The last thing I do here, I like to put like a little cross zoom right here. So now watch between clips. Simple but cool little effect. Now, I do the same thing on these other clips here. I'll do a fade in and fade out. Now you saw something in the beginning and the end showcasing what's going on. Of course, I add that text in social media when I posted the video, but another thing I like to do is create a thumbnail. Now you could do this in Canva, which is a free online tool that you can use, or if you're an Apple user, I go into, what is this called? I always forget the names of the Apple products, Keynote. And you can create a Keynote file, a Keynote folder here with the dimensions for those wide screens, okay? And I can't remember what they are right off the bat. I'll put it down here. But anyway, I created this file here and I saved it as an image, okay? So let me grab that image here and let's drag that down. So that's my ending there. Now what I like to do whenever I have something at the end, I'll drag whatever music that I had planned. See, I'm dragging that over and then I'll have it fade out. So, and then also I'll do like a little cross zoom here as well. So when I'm ending this music part here, it goes right into this. It kind of gives you that cool transition and then the music starts to fade. So you see here, Jason Stallworth live at the Crown Irish Pub tonight, Friday, April 1st from 7 to 10. Now, what I did with the video is I wanted to add something that's going to grab people's attention. So what I also did, I used that same image and I put it at the beginning at about maybe the 3 or 4 second mark, something like that here, 3 second mark. And I'll have that image fade in and fade out. So check this out. So they see that in the very beginning of the video. Now, one more thing I like to do, and you don't have to do this, I like to have just a little opacity here so you can still see me in the background playing like that right there. It's dark enough to read, but you can still see me playing. So let's watch that one more time. Once you have it together, you just render the video down and hey, you can start posting. Now I've got a question for you and I want you guys to leave your comments in the comment section of this video. But I want to revisit the sound part real quick. I know I gave you some strategies, a couple different strategies to use for capturing the audio, because audio is important. It's just like I'm using this lavalier mic as opposed to just using the room, because my room, it just doesn't sound as cool. This is what the room sounds like if I were not to use the lavalier mic. I mean, it's not horrible, but this sounds a little better and a little clearer. So talking about using mics and your phone and that sort of thing, I am going to try something tonight when I go play at the Crown Irish Pub here. I'm actually going to try to record direct. I'll also be able to capture some of the audience noise. I'll show you how to do all that in another video once I get everything together. So I hope my strategy that I use works, and I'll be sharing that probably next week. So on that note, that leads me right into my question for you guys. Now, some of you may know that I have been doing these live solo gigs for about 1.5 years now. I'm filming this in April 2022, and what an amazing journey this has been. Now, I have played live music in some facet throughout my entire life. Really starting from the time I picked up the guitar. I was playing in churches and that sort of thing. I had my own band way back in the day. I'll share some of that with you at some point. I'm still trying to get the audio from my old band members from that. We'll dig it up somehow. But for a while now, probably for the last, I'd say 7 to 10 years, I've been mainly in my studio writing and recording music for myself, other projects, doing YouTube videos and that sort of thing. And I was just really missing the live shows. I was missing getting up there on stage. There is something about being up there on stage and playing and singing Guys, I just can't explain it. I mean, if you already play live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You go a week or two with no gigs, you're like, you're like an addict. You're like, I gotta get back up there. If you're new at this and you haven't dove into this yet, I want to encourage you to do so, and I've got a quick tip for you. But the one question I have for you guys is, I want to share more of this content on my channel with you. And I know I've said this in some past videos, but not all of you see every one of my videos. You should watch all of my videos, by the way. But I want you to tell me in the comments, what type of content related to playing live would you like for me to put out there? Like I talked earlier about recording direct, I definitely want to share that with you, because if I get that down tonight and it works like I hope it works, then that's going to be a very important video for you. I also thought about sharing some tips on how to transpose songs into a key that's comfortable to your voice. You know, we don't all have those super high David Coverdale and Sebastian Bach voices, right? I certainly don't. And there's some stage tips and some tips on how to get gigs, how to keep gigs, how to establish those relationships with the venue owners and the staff there and sort of thing. So, of course, I've just given you a lot of ideas, but I want you to tell me in the comments, what are some things that you want me to cover in regards to playing live solo gigs? I know this has primarily been a metal guitar channel, and I'm always going to put metal guitar stuff out there for you guys. That's never going away. But these live shows, these live solo gigs, they've become a big part of my life, and you know, I want to take you along this journey with me. I even thought about, you know, starting another channel just for live solo musicians, or, you know, small live bands, but I'm like, that's just a lot to maintain. I'd rather just put it on my channel, because it's what I do now. So again, just let me know in the comments where I can help you. That's what my channel is all about. Above metal guitar, above live solo gigs, how can I help you guys? Where can I provide value to you? So yeah, let me know in the comments. Oh, and the one tip real quick that I want to end with here, and this is mainly for you guys who are not playing live solo gigs yet, but you want to get started. You're like, I'm ready, I've got some songs together, I want to get out there and promote myself. One good way to get a promotional video is to go to an open mic night and have someone film a couple of songs that you do there and put a little video together like we just did. That's a great way to showcase and get those first gigs, because again, people are gonna want to know what you sound like and what you can do. And just filming something on the patio or even in the studio like this, that's not a live environment. But if the venue or the venue owner that you're trying to establish that relationship with and get that gig, if they see you in some sort of live show environment, even if it's open mic, there's nothing wrong with that. Well, they're more apt to hire you, because they're like, okay, well, they play in front of people, so that's a huge plus. So I just want to give you that tip. So guys, I hope these tips helped you. I mean, this movie editing stuff, you can use it really for anything, not just live solo gigs. And again, even if you're not a live solo musician, this can be used for a band or to promote yourself in any form. Just use it for whatever. The main point is, I hope this helped you. So don't forget to leave your comments below. I will see you on the next video. Also, real quick, check out my links in the description of this video. Those of you who play metal guitar, or if you want to increase your metal guitar skills, I've got courses, I've got a free guide, all that good stuff. And there's some more good stuff in the YouTube description, ways you can support what I do. I, of course, appreciate that. Guys, until the next video, I would say keep it metal, but I think we're keeping it acoustic today, because, again, I've got to pack up my gear and get ready for the show at the Crown Irish Pub tonight.
There's a fire in your heart, a passion ready to explode. Where do you go when you're on the edge? When there's nowhere to turn around, your back's against the wall again. It is too late to turn back now.